So Tyrone 16 points, Monaghan 15 points. Tyrone are Ulster senior football champions following an 1 point victory over Monaghan at Croke Park. This game did take place yesterday, of course, as many of you will well know. Obviously, Tyrone becoming Ulster champions for the first time since 2017. I was out of the house yesterday, so I didn't get to make a match reaction straight after the game. I did see the first half, and I went back and watched the second half just there now. So I thought what I would do is record a match reaction and just give my thoughts on the game. Good win for Tyrone in the end, a much needed win, getting that Ulster Championship success. Brian Dooher and Fergal Logan have come in, under a bit of pressure in some ways to succeed what has been one of the best managers in Gaelic football of all time in Mickey Harte. And certainly at the early parts of Tyrone's reign, they had some very disappointing defeats, obviously, losing to Donegal, of course, in the league, and then obviously being beaten by Kerry. But that seems to be all forgotten about now, because they've put 3 straight wins together. They've beaten Cavan, they've beaten Donegal, and now they've beaten Monaghan in a very tight, close and very well-ran encounter, it must be said, at Croke Park. Fair play to Tyrone for getting the victory. Look, listen, in the first half, I think they used their experience, they used the players that they had. There was a bit of a COVID crisis coming into the game, so the likes of Tiernan McCann wasn't available. He's normally a player that Tyrone would bring off the bench to make a bit of an impact, and he wasn't available in the game. And so fair play to Tyrone, they done what was needed in the first half in particular. Monaghan, their fluency just wasn't quite there in front of goal. They just weren't moving the ball quick enough. They weren't creating chances. And they looked a little bit nervous, and you wouldn't normally associate a Monaghan side as a team that's a little nervous or that has any kind of nerves coming into any games. But certainly in the game, they did look like a team a little bit nervous, in my opinion, in the first half. Just missing 1 or 2 opportunities that you wouldn't normally see from Monaghan, Jack McCarron dropping 1 or 2 chances wide, Conor McManus even missing a couple of chances. It just wasn't quite there from Monaghan in front of goal, as opposed to the Armagh game, where they were absolutely brilliant in front of goal. And was it the fact that they were playing in Croke Park for the first time since 2018 in the Championship. Obviously, they've played there in the league. They played there against the Dubs last year in the league, in the 2020 National League. Of course, before the pandemic, which seems like more than a year ago, in all honesty. But yeah, Tyrone were managing the game very, very well. Darren McCurry was brilliant as always, and Matty Donnelly absolutely fantastic, kicking a couple of wonderful scores in the first half, and he was my man of the match in my opinion. That dummy that he had as well, where he kind of sold one of the defenders, put it over the bar. I mean, that was exceptional stuff from Tyrone and from Matty Donnelly. It really, really was. In the second half, Monaghan did start to come more and more into it. The likes of your Jack McCarrons, Conor McManus and Conor McCarthy, of course, as well, just started to cause a couple of problems. And even Monaghan's players that they brought off the bench, like Niall Kearns, made a massive, massive difference. Shane Carey as well, Andrew Woods, who came on late in the first half, late in the second half, just started causing a couple of more problems. And Monaghan did certainly start to grow in a bit more belief. I remember they hit the post at one stage as well, and that was a very close moment in the game. And Monaghan did start to believe a lot more. Rory Beggan almost playing in midfield, getting forward, kicking a couple of opportunities, almost scored a point from play, which would have been nothing short of remarkable. So Monaghan did start to believe a lot more. They did start to come more into the game. And Tyrone, they looked a little nervous going down the stretch. It was a big game for Tyrone to get over the line. To win an Ulster Championship is a big moment for Tyrone. You've players in that Tyrone side, like the likes of your Conor McKenna's and whatnot, who've come into the side. Your Paul Donahue's as well. And Tyrone have this experience within them already, having been to an All-Ireland final in 2018, that they need to be winning trophies, they need to be winning competitions. It kind of is mad that Tyrone haven't won an Ulster Championship since 2017, and the year they got to an All-Ireland final in 2018, they didn't win the Ulster Championship. So for Tyrone, they should be winning Ulster Championships, provided, if they beat Donegal, they should be going on to winning the Ulster Championship, and they've done so this year, beating Monaghan obviously in this game, and managing the game as well at different stages in the second half, just slowing it down in the first half as well. Very good in possession, took the opportunities when they came. Darren McCurry, who was quiet really up until the later stages of the first half, has been exceptional so far this year. Obviously, definitely in all-star football form of the year. There's no two ways about it. Definitely one of the contenders so far for footballer of the year. He's been absolutely brilliant. Kieran McGeary as well kicked a brilliant point, and Noel Sludden, Michael Bradley as well, even late on in the first half as well, was fantastic. At the second half, different stages as well, kicked 2 points in the game, so he was brilliant. And I suppose for Tyrone, they march on against Kerry. Huge game for Tyrone. Like, I think the pressure's off them in some ways as well going into that game, because everyone is talking about Kerry. Everyone's saying, Kerry are the team to beat now. Kerry are the team that are going to go on and win the All-Ireland. And look, listen, after what Kerry have done in the Munster Championship, after what they done in the league, they put 4 past Galway in the league, they put 6 past Tyrone in the league. They've been destroying everyone pretty much they've come up against this year, other than Dublin in that National League game. And even at that, in the second half, they outscored Dublin and looked far more the better side. So, like, Kerry are going to be a massive test for Tyrone, but the pressure will be all on Kerry, and it is a young Kerry side. And Tyrone do have a lot of experienced players in there. Colin McShane coming off the bench once again, and they do have experienced players in there. The likes of your Noel Sluddens in that side. Peter Hart, another very experienced player as well. Noel Morgan's very experienced. So, like, they have a plenty of experience in that team, and they do have that kind of cuteness that's still in them, still embedded in them, since Mickey Hart was the manager. So, like, if Tyrone could, drag the Kerry down to their level a little bit, take this thing out of Kerry, manage the game really, really well, they could have an opportunity. But look, listen, we'll certainly preview that game once it comes around. I suppose for Monaghan, look, listen, getting to an Ulster final, I think, has been a significant improvement from last year. I think Monaghan's problem over the past couple of years has been losing to teams that we all know they should be beaten. Like, they should have beat Cavan last year. They were in front going into the final 5 to 10 minutes. I think they had a 6 to 7 point lead at one stage, and they allowed Cavan come back into it, went to extra time. Cavan beat them. The year previous, something similar, Cavan beat them as well. They lost to Fermanagh in 2018, having actually beaten Tyrone in the championship, in the Ulster Championship. Obviously, Tyrone went on to beat them in an All-Ireland semi-final. But yeah, so kind of a mad scenario really for Monaghan over the past couple of years, but they have done what was expected and what was needed, beating Armagh, beating Fermanagh, of course, as well, going on to an Ulster final. And it wasn't meant to be, and you just wondered in the final few moments, they were waiting for that chance, waiting for that opportunity, just couldn't quite find it. Couple of wides as well. Tyrone just about got over the line, and a much needed victory for Tyrone to win that Ulster Championship. And I think, if they get absolutely hammered by Kerry, there will be question marks asked of both Brian Dooher and Fergal Logan. But I think as long as they're competitive, and I think they've shown that they certainly can be competitive. Look, I know they were hammered by Kerry in the league game, but they can be competitive. Like, they have the players to do it, to take it down and not slow the game down. And I think they could be in with a chance. And I think once they're in with a chance, I think this season has definitely been a success, winning an Ulster Championship and marching on to the Final 4 of the All-Ireland. So we will go ahead and wrap this up here. Do leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. My name is Aaron, and I'll see you all on the next one.